and hate is almost like a child of fear,
Yeah.
right? And so like that's usually, and that's kind of what we're trying to simplify as we have these, this published study that was essentially sounding like a study trying to correlate the physical expressions that occur within the human body to feelings, like from a catalyst of a feeling of either love or fear, right? And then seeing what happens within the body when that happens, because as we said with words, right? Words have different. Sometimes people say love is only romantic love, is only sexual love, is like that's only love. But like, well, what about like your parents and your grandparents and your friends and your family? Like there's platonic love, right? And so there's different elements of love. And then also having like love, you put love into something, like whether you're cooking something or making something for somebody, or building something or constructing something, or having an artistic, putting your love into something that then is called art, right? And I believe that art is kind of limiting, and I think art is more expansive. Like literally anything that anybody puts their heart into has an element of like their soul, and that, like, what if that is all that love is literally the energy that beats your heart, that powers your life, that gives you conscious awareness. And if we just focus on that and allow that to be the driver, our intuition, everything that we know inside, is the typical terminology we use, is how we should do it. Yet our intellect gives us these fears and these doubts, like, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you should consider this, or what about that? And are there elements of that have potential value occasionally? Absolutely. But like allowing that to override what you feel in your heart should or should not be, is where we start to get into the place of fear overtaking what we instinctively have as a driving force that again powers our life. The electrical pulse in our heart powers our life. It's no accident that the universal symbol for love is the heart, and the heart is like within our body, and the electrical pulse that defines a living person or a living being and a no longer living person or living being is the electrical pulse that's in your heart. Okay, so how could that not be, for consideration of what we're talking about here, something in which we allow ourselves to function from, to where when we do that more consistently, and we go back to that, when we start to have doubts or we start to have fears, we go back to that and we allow that to be our source and our single source of truth, as what's said in business, your single source of truth. You start to realize that, and then you reflect on decisions you made. You could have made, been in business and been working and be saying, and my grandmother would say, she's like, you got to think about it bad to come good. So I'll agree with that to some extent, because like, but like, I'll agree with that to how I functioned previously in a state of consciousness in which I took exactly that advice. And I went through a series of business decisions in one massive, part of my professional career. And it came good. It came good. But you know what also came? All the things I feared piled on for years and years. I'm like, oh my God, how did this happen? Why is this happening to me? All this good happened, but then all this bad is coming with it. And I didn't realize it until recently, within the past year of coming into the experiences I've had in my life, in which I'm able to reflect on that and say, wow, I brought that upon myself. I attracted that back to me. Did I put love into it? Absolutely. But I also put fear into it. And when I put that fear, that has to come back. Everything you put out has to come back to you. And so like when the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, like, the law of life, like how you think and how you feel and the actions you take result in the experiences you have in your conscious awareness.